Nationally, voting and access to voting is a very heated topic in many states and in the Supreme Court as well. I'm interested in hearing you talk about what voting means, why it's important, and also the fact that the conversation or the debate is highly partisan in terms of Republican candidates being the ones who are interested in restricting vote, and because of the perception that the people who they would be preventing from voting would primarily vote Democratic. So, if you could comment on that.
Voting, pure and simple, is power. People lose sight of that. People feel powerless in the type of democracy that we've allowed to bloom over the past, I don't even know how many years, certainly over 50 years, things have changed. We've seen third parties being squeezed out. We've seen options on the ballot. So one thing that does separate me from Representative Simon, who is very pro-voter access, and I'm in agreement with him. I want to reduce those burdens, and my analysis will be that we don't have a problem with voter fraud. We have other priorities, and we need to make this as open as possible and easy as possible for people. But the thing that's not getting looked at is candidate access. And that's where I find it troubling that both my GOP and DFL opponents are silent on the fact that third parties are being excluded from debates. These are people that rather than just pay a fee to get on the ballot, they've gone out and they've got 2,000 people, or in some cases I believe 4,000 for the governor's race, that they've got those signatures. They've got people that said, we want you on the ballot, so we want to have an option to vote for you. But there's other forces within our election system that are saying, okay, you're on the ballot, but we don't want to hear from you. We don't want your name out there. We don't want any contrast with the two guys we think will win. So as much as we can talk about voter access, I'm pressuring my opponents also to talk about candidate access, because having those options on the ballot makes you as a voter feel powerful, that you can choose someone that best represents you.
Sorry. I'll come back out there. I do want to ask another question, though, a follow-up question about this, because it's one of its peculiarity with the Secretary of State's office, because it's a partisan position that is supposed to be basically nonpartisan, and it seems very strange to me that we've set it up that way. But I've also heard the counter, well, how else would you set it up? I mean, there's seemingly no other way to set it up. So,
well, not even every state elects a Secretary of State. I think there's legislative appointments where the legislature appoints and approves someone in a number of states. The concern about the nonpartisan race is that this dark money concept, that even if you go through the trouble of removing Democrat, Republican, whatever party affiliation you are from the ballot, there's still going to be the money behind it influencing it. So some people favor the partisanship just for the fact that you know where their money's coming from or where their support's coming from, the infrastructure of their campaigns. So obviously I represent myself as a nonpartisan candidate. I think that's in the best interest of the state. I get endorsements from my opponents at every forum because they're advocating independence in this role. They want someone who is independent and objective, and I just don't know how you can do that after a decade in the legislature.